Mute the phone so we don't make a bunch of noise like that. Wake up! It's morning! Coffee time! Yeah! What are you doing? Anybody in here? No. Steve, you're a loser. Why'd you go live? There's nothing to talk about. Always got something to talk about, right? But unfortunately, my analytics tells YouTube this guy is worthless, so therefore you might come across and watch him. And then the idiot takes his videos down. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, right? We are live from beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Springfield, Missouri. I accomplished a mission last night. And that mission was to get parked before my hours got up, and it happened. I got to the customer 2 hours early. I may have fibbed. I may have told him, what time's your appointment? It's really 2300. I was like, my broker said it was 2200. Them brokers. And I got there at 2150 or something like that. And all right, going back. Man, I was unloaded in literally 8 minutes. I switched this ELD to customer unload on duty. I usually let it go a little bit, then I'll switch it to sleeper. And that thing was on for 8 minutes and like, green light. It's like, heck yeah. And I even got a parking spot at this truck stop where you can probably, well, you have to, I don't know, you have to be safe. You have to be really safe here. And it was good. It was good. I'm making coffee, trying to save money. Trying to save money so I can buy presents for the kids. So, you see how that goes. I'm going to give you some keto tips too. If you guys want some keto tips. Keto tips. We're going back to basics on the keto. We can talk health if you want. We can talk trucking. We can talk business. We can talk about things that don't matter in today's world, which is all the above. And we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about except politics, religion, and sports. Let's kick out this window thing. So I could stare at this truck next to me. So, let's read some comments, do some shout outs. There's no agenda to this video. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to demean anybody else. We are just being who we are. Let's turn the... Man, this guy has ads. Alright. Every now and then I'll look at the ads. Well, okay, what ads are they playing on my YouTubes? Alright, so we got Charles Brandt, Scott SRO Logistics, Salty Pirate TV, Provost Motorsports, Salem Transit, the Pencil Pusher Extraordinaire. Wow, he's trucking. Yep, I've been trucking. Duh. Cascade, other trucker James Bess, Charles Brandt, Provost Motorsports beats 8 hours. Hey brother, Robert Daniel, what's up? Donnie Luke. I missed it, James. Did you get a trailer? Keto is that a fog? That's weird. I got busy and missed the whole thing. Cascade Transport, all the ads. Yeah. Hey now, what's up, Thomas? TK, what is up? Phil Ryder. How is life over there? TK, you've been kind of quiet. You never call me anymore. I see your truck on occasion. Pale Rider TV. It sucks that you. I know you get a used drive there. Look, as you're going in the country, go across the country, you'll see like these like fields that have dry-van trailers. You know, there's a trailer dealer. Oh, about 10 miles west of Springfield. That there's 2 dry vans. I thought about going over there and seeing what they're wanting for those. You know, you got some of these old school dealerships that don't use the interwebs. You know, you might be able to find a gem like that. But check this out, guys. Check this out, okay? As the market drops, a lot of these companies are getting rid of their Christmas freight. And so a lot of trailers are being used for storage. So as the market drops a little bit and Christmas winds down, you're gonna start seeing an uptick in trailers. You're gonna see, at least in the rental lease field, and you're gonna see that. And so here in about a month, you'll be able to find as many trailers as you want. Maybe Columbus will have the goods. Columbus is an awesome place to be looking for a load. I need to be looking for a load. I got a bid in with a Click and Go. They're probably like laughing at it and going, check out what this dude wants, you know? But hey, one of the things let me give you a little trick about a bidding app. Okay, we're not going to name names, but an app where you bid and then they tell you what you lost the bid by, it'll kind of give you a gauge of what people move that for, right? It'll kind of give you a gauge of where it's going. So if a load's typically moving for 1,000 and you keep bidding 1,500 and you lost this load by $500, then you know that unless they're desperate, you're never going to get that 1,500, right? Doesn't hurt to ask though, right? That's the name of the game in the broker world. It doesn't hurt to ask unless they hang up on you because it's so ridiculously high. But even then, you know, this particular load I'm bidding on, the receiver is kind of like, but there's potential for a lot of detention. So I'm like, why not? Right? Because this app is really good about giving you the detention you deserve. So Keto, the name of your dog. Nobody names their dog Keto. That's weird. I was thinking of calling you. LOL. It's all right. Busy. I've lost touch with my Schneider friends. I've been really bad about that. Well, these trailers I'm talking about are already road ready, able to work right away, and they are good trailers that I've seen from them. Awesome. Convoy has been accepting my ridiculous bids. Good deal. That gives me hope, Provost. It gives me hope. I got 150 more on a load than I ran 3 weeks ago. Yes, the rates are really good. I was doing the load I did last night. I was talking to somebody and I was looking at my notebook. Now, on my notebook, if you guys know me, I'm very methodical with my notebook, right? I write down everything of the load, the broker, and all that. And then as the year goes on, I flip the pages over and I start using the other side of the paper. Well, the other side of this particular load was earlier in the year when I did this load, and it was literally 125% more than when I was doing it back in the heart of COVID world. So absolutely. So yeah, there's definitely an increase. So we'll see what happens. Can I expect the Bex hat for Christmas? James Best, I will tell you exactly how to get a Bex hat. You have to run a load to Bex there in Henderson, Kentucky. You go in there and you see the hats there, and you're getting your bill of lading signed, and they go, hey, how much for those hats? And they go, driver, we love our drivers, so we're going to give you one. You know, that's how you get a Bex hat. John Armstrong, good morning. Might take the rest of the winter off. You live in Florida. Just drive around there. There ain't no winter in Florida. Chucky's in here. So we're live with our coffee before the low boards. Really, I mean, it's some of the low boards I'll have some stuff, but for the most part, the call right at 8. Now here's the other thing. If you're on the spot market, guys, we're still doing last minute. That's, you're gonna see okay, so here's a good gauge on the market, right? So on a typical day, if you're like in Columbus, Ohio, we'll do Springfield, Missouri, okay? Springfield, Missouri, within a 100-mile radius, you might have 150 loads picking up today, 200 picking up tomorrow, and 250 picking up after that, right? It's been opposite. You might have 250 today, only 100 tomorrow, and 50 for the third day. So a lot of people are ordering stuff and not sure if they want it or not. A lot of shippers. So there's a lot of load cancellations. There's a lot of wait times. There's some shippers that are backed up. If you're hauling paper this week, you're probably been in a long line for about 2 years, both rolled and finished product. That's one of the benefits, the blessings that I have, is that I've been doing this long enough that I know what the trends are. And while the beginning, the first year and a half was at Landstar, you still followed a lot of the spot market trends, because the spot market absolutely affects Landstar. But I'm going to say something that might blow your mind, okay? The best loads out here never hit a low board. The best loads out here are not advertised. And that is the challenge. How do you get in with those? For example, at Landstar, around Christmas time, you would see a load that you've never seen on the load board before. And what it is, it's an agent that has a normal truck that does these all the time for them. They've taken the month of December off. So you run these for a minute, and you get in good with this agent. And so when that agent has a truck drop off, then next thing you know, you've got steady loads. Now, of course, their driver comes back from Christmas, those loads disappear. You're not getting phone calls. But if you've made an impression and she loses, or he or she loses another driver, then you can absolutely get in. Next thing you know, you're running steady freight without even ever having to look in the load board. That's called being efficiency. And so You can take your gamble and get the highest paying load in any area that you want, but you're going to risk going to dead areas. You're going to deal with a lot more negative weather, but you're going to have trouble developing consistency. And to me, slow and steady wins the race. Because if you're always going for the highest dollar regardless of where you're going, you're going to be more stressed, and then the more stress you have, you make bad decisions, and then again, what good's all that money if you can't enjoy it, or you destroy relationships or your health for it? That doesn't do any good. So slow and steady wins the race. I would rather a broker consider me the person that they can always call because I'm always there, versus thinking that I'm just another guy that's going to take advantage of the situation and disappear later. So, just did your pre-op trip like a boss. Pre-op trip? Is there something that you're not telling us there, Mr. Armstrong? Golf is more fun. Well, I'll take your word for it. I'm not even that great at mini golf. I've never played real golf. Well, they went for over 10 for the 10 to the 15-year-olds. Trailers, 5 years, around 20K. I did see that a lot of people were saying that people were paying ridiculous prices for these used trailers. And so hopefully those of you who want to buy a trailer have learned a valuable lesson, okay? When the market is down and people are going out of business left and right, it's shortly after that's when you want to buy equipment. I could have, trucks included, I could have bought a brand new Volvo 860, all the bells and whistles, and it was even black, so that makes it even cooler because black trucks are cool. And for 145, whereas 2 years before that same truck was about 170. Trailers are no different. I bought my trailer for $30,000. A year and a half later, it was at $34,000. And then when you couldn't sell a trailer to save your life, they were probably about $28,000. And now they're like $58,000 or something. I don't know. That last number could be false, but you can't even find a trailer right now if you want a new one. Did you watch the whole Ox, or was just the first set of Dry? Too rich for me, though. Right. And that's the thing. And so with used trailer prices, right, I could probably sell my trailer for a profit for what I owe right now because of how valuable trailers are. I mean, that's why I bought a trailer with no worries, because I know that I would make my investment back if I ever go to sell it. It's in good shape too, knock on wood. There's only the one bullet hole, and beyond that, it's been a good trailer. I've enjoyed it. It is a little on the heavy side. Strict trailers seem to be heavier. And it's definitely not a plate trailer. Trailer's rare as hen's teeth. Yep. Another strategy is you can do a power only for some brokers and see if you can load that trailer and just keep that trailer for a minute. I know guys that have done that. Or you do a power only where you take a load somewhere and then you're allowed to load the trailer back. But you run more risk when you do that, because what if you go to load that trailer and then they damage it? Well, then that becomes a huge nightmare. Desperate buyers, beginning of auction. Cool-headed folks hold for later. Yep. Well, everybody was probably desperate for those trailers in the beginning of that deal. That's what I'm doing, Steve. I'm going to JB Hunt. They take new drivers on at 3 months, and I'm going to do power only for them as an owner operator. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Well, good deal, John. I hope that works. I'd be curious to see how their low board and all that works. So power only, you're going to be pulling a lot of containers, and anybody who hasn't pulled a container, they're fun. They're very fun. Those chassis are well maintained. The brakes and tires of those things are perfect. And the chassis, man, they ride so smooth. Man, it's like you don't even feel the trailer behind you. And rail yards are so interesting. And I mean, they're beautiful, wondrous industrial places. And I can't say enough about the awesomeness of rail yards and container hauling. But if you were a guy that had a truck but no trailer, you will pay anything for it. I might be able to say this. I've pulled 2 containers, one out of Kansas City. It was kind of funny because, you hit the brakes and the truck goes left. You're like, whoa, hey. And then I pulled one literally like 5 miles here in Springfield. Back when I was at Transland, they had a container division, and of course JB Hunt took over and killed the small independent container divisions out around here. But they yeah, those are in. I wouldn't want to cross country with one of those trailers, so. But if you're a guy that had a truck but no trailer, you will pay anything for it. No, within reason, James. I mean, would you pay, if you were desperate for a trailer, would you pay 30 grand for one of them old Schneider trailers? No. You'll take your chances on running power only, right? I think one of the most important, there's 2 most important steps that I've made as an owner-operator, okay? One is getting my own plate. If your carrier allows you to have your own plate for your truck, not a lease truck, but for your own truck, I highly suggest having that power. Number one, dealing with IRP is going to teach you a little bit about some of the government stuff that you got to put up with. Number two, you might even save money, because when I was at Landstar and Schneider, my plate was through Indiana, and I don't recall what my costs were for the plate at Landstar, but at Schneider it came out to a total of about $20,000 a year. Not 20,000, 2,000. Sorry, 20,000. No, 2,000. And so by having my own plate, I actually saved money. The big challenge is I have to have all the money at once, where Schneider took it out weekly. But I highly suggest having that power. The second most important thing I did as an owner-operator is I bought a trailer. I bought a trailer right when the market was starting to turn a little bit. Rates were starting to get high, and so had I waited a little bit longer, I would have paid way more for my trailer than what I paid. And when I compare it to some of my friends that got utilities, I got kind of a raw deal a little bit. I paid, some guys got utilities with all the bells and whistles that I paid for a raw trailer. I don't have skirts, I don't have auto inflate, which I regret that. I don't regret not having skirts. But those were the two most important things, because it gives me more control. You know, it gives me the option of getting my own authority. It gives me the option to move to any company that allows trailers. You know, it just opens up a lot more avenues. Most carriers will pay more if you have your own trailer. Landstar included. Landstar will give you 72 over 65. And there are other companies, you know, that's so having a trailer, and then you could like custom the trailer. You can put belly boxes, you can put E-tracks on it, you can specialize with it. It allows you the freedom to haul more or more diverse freight. And then like at worst, you know, this was the worst case scenario. I always tell you guys, look at the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is that I fell flat on my face in the spot market and I had to go back to Schneider. Well, the trailer payment was so low that it doesn't matter if I have to make that trailer payment, and I can lease out that trailer, or I can rent it to someone for storage. So I knew that either way it was an investment, no matter how you looked at it. And right now, if I would have had 2 or 3 trailers, that investment would be paying off right now. Okay, let's go back to the comments. Good morning, sir. Greetings from the holiday city, Oak and Menards. Free to speak foggy. I've been holiday city. Yeah, I've been there. Actually, Steve, the recruiter, asked me if I wanted to do over the road drive-ins or intermodal containers. I'm going OTR, pulling their preloaded, some live load drive-ins. Good deal. That's the best way to do it. I'll be paying a little more for my plates than Schneider. Yeah, some states you'll be more, some states you'll be less. But either way, you're in control, Chucky, and that's a great thing. Now, if you have a Schneider finance truck and it's still in Schneider's name, you're not going to be able to get your own plate. It's going to be next to impossible. But if you got the paid off truck, if you completed your lease, if the title's in your name because you got it refinanced, absolutely plate your own truck. Even if it's a little bit more, it's worth it. Ralph Loto, good morning. So that's good, John. I'm happy to see that you didn't waste buying a truck. So the plan worked. The plan of being a company driver for a minute to get your feet wet worked. So kudos to you, sir. I can't express how important a plan is enough. And that's kind of been my problem for the last year, is I don't have any kind of plan. You know, what's the end game? You know, James Best brought up a good point. What's the end game? What's the end game, Steve? And for the last year, I'm like, I don't know. And once a person starts formulating the plan and you stick to the plan, I think there's great things that you can do. Chucky, you should call me sometime. I have a couple questions for you. Plans snowball. Look, here's the best part about plans, okay? When things go wrong, you have plans in place for emergencies. You have plans in place. You have to be able to see. Here's the thing. Here's that phrase that all of us YouTubers say. Here's the thing. You have to be rigid enough to make plans and stick to them. But you also have to be able to improvise on the fly. Okay? You have some people that are good at one and not the other. I try to float somewhere in the middle. I try to be, okay, we can improvise because this and this and this happened. And then I also try to plan things out to where, okay, now we know what our obstacles are going to be, everything else. And you have people that are really good at planning, but once something goes wrong, it throws them off. And then you got people that are horrible at planning, but they seem to survive while they're improvising. Only 2 more months of endured servitude here, and then I'll have some more money and freedom. Also, thank you for your suggestion, Steve. You're welcome. And then the minute you can get enough experience over at Schneider or at JB Hunt, well, after about a year, you might be able to get a lower insurance quote for your own numbers there. Nothing I ever plan goes the way I planned it. RD, and that's why I've said you got to have some improv skills too. RD, what are your improv skills? Are they good? How many of you okay, show of hands, how many of you business owners made a business plan before you started? I didn't. I had a worst case scenario. Okay, what happens if that happens? Okay, we'll do this. And that was it. I didn't put numbers down. I did not put one piece of pencil to a piece of paper at all. I did some rough numbers in my head based off of what one person was telling me. And it's only a miracle that I'm still here. Absolutely. It's only a miracle that I'm still here, right? So when I talk to people, smart people, about wanting to get another truck, we're like, well, you got to come up with a plan. You got to come up with a business plan. You got to write all the numbers down. You got to crunch the numbers. Numbers don't lie. And, you know, I don't know. Plan is just a rough draft. When you execute the plan, you perfect the draft with the most accurate, relevant information available at the time. Absolutely, Rick. Step 1, get truck. Step 3, make profit. Oh, man. Skip. You forgot step 2, and that is, and I know you did that on purpose, TK. Step 2 is pull your hair out, cry, be emotionally drained. I have ideas. Those ideas turn to reality. I had a plan, but it changed like 50 times. Sometimes I had nothing to do with the changes. That's true. That's true. sometimes when one person makes a plan, you have to really, here's the most important part of making a plan, okay? It's going to be one of those long live feeds that I might take down later that's going to have some nuggets. I hope they're golden nuggets for you. If not, if they're at least chicken nuggets you can eat, okay? So, why did Steve, Snorlord, why does he down himself as being a dumbass a lot? Why do I down myself? Well, because there's a little bit of a lack of confidence in things. Well, why does Steve have a lack of confidence? Well, because sometimes Steve doesn't look at the whole picture because he's not honest with himself. Before I bought my first truck, I was afraid to make a plan. I was afraid to put pencil to paper. I was afraid to see what could have been the reality, because I had heard over and over and over about all these owner operators and lease ops fail. I live in the land of prime, right? Do you know how many ex-lease prime drivers I know that told me not to do it? Even my father was like, don't ever go lease to prime, you know? And so I was afraid of what could have been the truth, because you had all these people telling you that you're going to fail. You had all these people because they failed. You had everybody telling you the horrors of being an owner operator. And I didn't want to hear it. So therefore I didn't research it. I didn't look into it. And I wasn't being honest with myself on the what ifs. All I did was make sure that I got a truck that the bank won't take my house and everything away from me if I lost it. Okay, that's it. That was the only safeguard I made. That's it. You know, repossession, that's the only risk I took, right? So the most important part about making a plan is being completely honest with yourself and what your weaknesses are. What are your weaknesses? And whatever your weaknesses are, you either got to partner up with somebody that can help you over those weaknesses, or you have to find mentors to help you with those weaknesses, and then you can progress forward. For example, if doing taxes is a challenge to me, I'm going to hire somebody to do that, right? If keeping track of my accounting is difficult for me, I will hire somebody to do that. Now, that increases your cost or whatever, but by knowing that tax accounting is not my strongest suit, I have no problem paying a tax accountant to do my taxes for me. A little bit of peace of mind brings a little bit of clarity, and I can concentrate on other stuff. But I have to admit that doing taxes is not my strong suit. Now, you have YouTubers, you know, or Facebookers that will tell you that you should be doing this, you should be doing that by yourself, you know, and so it's a little intimidating. So you sit there and think, well, you know, if I'm not doing my own taxes, then I must be kind of an idiot, because these guys are saying that you need to do it. So I either end up half-ass trying, or I don't do it at all, you know. So a lot of the advice that we give here on YouTube can actually be harmful on what your true goals are, because it's an easy platform for you to, you know, if someone goes, hey, you don't need credit to start a business, right? Well, that can give you a false sense of security, to where, you know, if you got a 400 credit score but somehow miraculously got a truck, that you can run a business. You know, maybe you're on a lease purchase program or something. Not recognizing the fact that, okay, what steps can I make to improve that situation, and what has put me in that situation, right? It could have been an accident, could have been a medical reason that you that you went bankrupt, or it could have been that you just don't have willpower with money. It could be any of those things. But as YouTubers, we make blanket statements saying, oh, if you have crappy credit, there must be a reason, and it's because you're not strong, you're not willpowered or whatever. And that's not always the case, right? And so you have like, well, that guy made it with the 600 credit score, and you go, well, that guy had perfect credit, but he still ended up going under because he had too much credit because he was quick to put everything on credit, and so you have that credit argument, but that's just one aspect. You have to be honest with yourself. Why do I not have good credit? Why was I able to save up a ton of money? Why was I able to not save money? You got Snyder guys that are consistently grossing $4,000 a week over there, yet they don't have a penny to their name. Why is that? It's not Snyder's fault. So how can you go to the next level if you don't have your own house in order, right? So it takes a bit of honesty, and that's the biggest part of any plan, whether it's a business plan or retirement plan or whatever, is you have to be honest with yourself. What do you want to do? And then you tweak it as it comes along. And it might change. After 5 years, you might be like, well, my goal is to own 10 trucks, whereas like a year ago it might have been my goal is not to own any trucks, so it varies, it tweaks, but the most important part is being honest with yourself. And do you know how many people are not honest with themselves? I'm not honest with myself a lot of times. I know people that try to be honest on YouTube, but they aren't honest with themselves. And I'm one of them, and there are things that I've done that would take other people out, and there are things that I've done that would make another person successful if they implemented those things in their plan. So nothing witty, you did not miss much. That's pretty sad when we're at the 42-minute mark and I can say that you haven't missed much. Smooth Trucking. James is an ideal man, but his ideas are not ideal. Life is always something like 20% what you plan and 80% how you react to the unexpected. Absolutely. It's how you react. Worst case, you find a new job. People are really good at putting you in their position. Right? Lost 2 days on one paper load, says Cascade. Southern Rider, my tax lady is a retired IRS agent. You can't beat that. Please use a professional with taxes. Rick N, I cannot agree more. That is absolute paramount. Always follow your gut to make decisions. It never has failed me yet, but I personally listen to my head. I always get into trouble. Yeah, that's called overthinking, Robert, right? And my gut said that I can make this work. My gut says I can do this, right? There wasn't like some weird overall, like, what have I done? Oh my gosh. No, it was like I was ready to accept that challenge. It's kind of like, in the band when we opened up for 6 Feet Under, there was like 300 people out there. Never played for a crowd like that at that time, and it was like a good challenge. It was like, oh man, I wasn't scared, but I was nervous, right? And so I have this personal mantra that I say to myself in situations like that, and I just I went up there with confidence, and that worked, because there were a lot of people that brought me aside that thought that we were part of the tour group. And I thought, man, that's cool, because most of the time when you see a local band open for a bigger band, you can tell they're the local band, right? But we put up this persona, this essence of We are supposed to be here. We are meant to be here. And so that's where laws of attraction come in. That's when, you have to visualize, being successful. And so you got to find that fine line between being delusional and realistic, right? And so sometimes you can overthink things. If I overthought that there was 300 people in front of me, I may or may not have been able to get up on stage. But once I was able to visualize, and I did this the night before, I visualized a big crowd. I visualized what we would look like. I visualized what we would sound like. And that visualization is true. If you want to be successful, and Sammy from Makes Sense, he talks about this a lot. He and I see eye to eye on this. You want to be successful, picture yourself being successful. I kid you not. Before I went over to Schneider, I would actually visualize in my head my black Peterbilt pulling that orange trailer, because I knew that it was going to save my business, right? And I envisioned how much good it was going to do for me, how much good it was going to do for the family, how much happier we would be, and it worked like a charm, right? It was perfect. And were there hiccups? Yeah, I blew my turbo, but had I not been successful at Schneider, that turbo blowout would have been a lot worse. So visualization becomes extremely important, and being honest with yourself becomes extremely important. And then next thing you know, you're not overthinking things. You're able to roll with the punches, but at the same time have enough knowledge and background and things in place that when things go wrong, you have a fallback plan. You have a fail safe. You have a default mode. When I bought this trailer, I knew that, well, at absolute worst, if I'm making a trailer payment while I'm at Schneider, I can still afford that bill. So the trailer payment had to be low. I didn't want to get something for, $800 a month. So that's where my good credit came in handy. I was able to get the truck no money down, which was extremely important because I had just spent the money I had saved up on a new clutch. So plans, and then being able to roll with the punches on those plans. And her husband runs a trucking operation in Holland Logs. Good deal. Need to call Steve Starr's wife? Yes, you do. It depends on what you consider rich, John, and OTJB, because I'm already rich due to my hobby outside of the trucking industry. I gotta pay attention to the time, because if the app doesn't accept my bid by a certain time, I gotta call it a day, because there's pretty good deadhead on it. My hobby is not making me money yet, but I do get tax deductions from it. I would love to make money from a hobby. I would absolutely love that. That's why I would love to open my own record store or be part of a record store. Because music's a hobby, right? And I envisioned a store that you can go out and buy an old Metallica record, but also check out a guitar that's hanging on the wall. That was my vision, right? But big corporate America has kind of ruined that a little bit. Oh, and then COVID world's like, hey, all you small businesses that were struggling, guess what? Taking you out, right? FYI, you can't get tax deductions over the income for a hobby. So, record store with a cigar bar. I don't know. if I could support a smoking industry dealing with what my dad dealt with. I don't think I could be morally right with that. Just like I don't know if I could open, like, liquor store is a great business to own too, and I don't know if I would want to open a liquor store. I did want to do a bar and grill kind of thing, but that was more for the bands than just wanting to make money off of people's misery, And that's just a personal perception. I could be wrong with that, but that's how I would look at that. What was that movie about a record shop owner and his employees? Empire? I don't know. Vinyl's making a. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah. Morning. There you go. All right, we're back. Important phone call. Let's see. High Fidelity. I think I've seen that. If it's Rex Live, you're not here. Yeah, you got muted, Pale Rider. Must be work related. James Best, time to take over his live, right? He's keeping secrets from us, right? Well, as a YouTuber, it's in my best interest to make sure that if a driver has an issue, that I keep that private to myself. So you don't need to know all of our business, right? I deal with show horses, and yes, I'm using it correctly because I have a hobby show barn. That's where I'm getting my deductions from showing and breeding side. Ag Natural, he's back. Nothing happened when he was gone. But we are almost at an hour anyways, and I don't like being at more than an hour. I'm not Mr. Best, right? But unless you guys got any other questions and comments, concerns, we will end this live feed, and I need to get on the low boards and start seeing what the day entails. Take advantage of the situation. So gonna go live show how it's done, OTJB. Yeah. Why not an 18-hour live? Well, I could go live for 18 hours and then, you know, complain about how difficult, back office is, but and how we don't have time for it. But I won't do that. Shots fired, James Best. You do love your voice. He he should be a singer. I challenge James Best to go back and watch one of his live feeds, replays, so he can reminisce. I don't even like listening to my own live feeds. I don't know how I have 29 people in here, to be honest with you. I don't like hearing myself talk. I don't. There are days when I go live and then I'll be on the phone all day with various friends, and then at the end of the day I'm just like spent. I'm just like, I need to shut the hell up. And I'm sure there's some people watching this going, you do need to shut the hell up, Steve. How many times can you talk in circles? Right. After a while, I feel like I talk in circles. And my approach to business is a little bit different than everybody else's. I look at the mindset. I look at the, I don't know, the more stoic side of it, I guess. And that's always been a weakness of mine, is I've never been the guy to crunch every minute penny number. And part of that's because I'm afraid of it. But I do crunch my numbers now. I have a really good software program to do that. And I love it. You have to learn to love numbers. If you hate numbers in the beginning, once you learn how to love them, once you learn how to love the numbers, then the other stuff becomes a lot easier. That's my 2 cents. Literally 2 cents. Good advice. You do have a soothing voice. Soothing voice? That's, John, that's weird, but thanks for the compliment, I think. What was it that Spectre called me on Hensley's live feed? He called me the Hallmark channel of YouTube or something. Oh, man. Was it Hallmark or Lifetime? I'm the Lifetime network of YouTube. That's hilarious. Love trigonometry, calculus. I never got past Algebra 1. The best math class that I took in high school was consumer personal math because it taught you how to do your taxes, you know, the 1040 easy form. It taught you how to balance your checkbook. It taught you how to, it even had a section where we learned how to custom order a car. You know, work-life balance mindset. That's kind of my gist. Look, life is about balance, right? If you got too much business and no personality, no personal, no enjoyment, what good is it? If you got nothing but enjoyment but you're broke and homeless, then that's no good either. You know, look at Seattle. So there's to me it's about balance. Balance, Daniel said. Balance. And sometimes it's hard, man. It's hard finding balance as a truck driver, regardless of what spectrum that you're in. And to me, that when I was a trainer, that was what I would work with these guys sometimes. You know, you can only teach a guy how to back, and you could teach guys how to back and how to get the truck down the road and how to hit a dock and how to deal with their logbooks. But if they don't enjoy it, or if they don't become successful at it, then they end up leaving. And what good does that do anybody? So, you know, if I would interview these guys, I would like, so what's your personal life like? What's your home life like? What's your spouse like? And then I would tell them the challenges that they would face. Like one of the challenges that nobody talks about in training is when you have a wife and kids at home and you're a man, and you know, guess what? Your wife and kids are going to learn how to get along without you. They have to. And so there comes a transition period where you're going to feel like a stranger in your own home. And your wife had made decisions based off of what needed to be done at the house. And so you come in, and if you like completely tell the kids opposite of what she's been building, you know, that doesn't do any good. Nobody talks about that in CDL school. No one talks, your trainer at Swift doesn't talk about that. You know, you're going to deal with, you know, trucking will make a man out of you, but it will also make you feel like less of a man at home at times. You know, your health is going to go to crap. So how do you deal with that? So you have to make steps. You know, we would talk about health stuff, you know, and back then I was more hypocritical, but I did see that when these people started eating a lot of fast food, that they would get sick. And so I would like try to keep a cooler in the truck just for them. I had 2 coolers in the truck, and one was specifically for them because my trainer did that. And it was a tremendous help of me saving money, because trainees don't make a whole lot of money when they're training, if any. You know, I would express the importance of a good cell phone plan. Now it's a little bit easier because of smartphones, but when I started, smartphones weren't a thing. So, you know, little things like that make the job easier, make the job more bearable, to keep yourself from becoming your own worst enemy. And so it's like that with anything. You know, if you got a $4,000 truck note and you got to stay out all the time, there's going to be other consequences to that. You might be the best business person in the world, and pay those bills on time every month, but you're also, to me, losing a lot of valuable time of doing things that you enjoy. And that's the one thing that we don't get back. You can build your credit back, you can go bankrupt and get your riches back. You can, lose marriages and then acquire them back at times, but you can't get back lost time. And when you're sitting on your deathbed, looking back at your life, what are the things that are you going to look back and say, I really regret that? Or what are the things that you're going to look back and say, that wasn't really important at that time? Or it seemed like it at that time, but it's not? There's... And once you can kind of look at life in that sense, then things become a little bit better, a little bit easier. That being said, thanks for watching. I need to get to work. See you.